Veronica Bale joins us over by the big board for this fact check on Venezuela, staying with the double earthquakes, Veronica, in Venezuela, whilst rescue efforts intensify. Social media buzzes with false and misleading videos about the disaster. Tell us what you found.
That's right, Mark. Following the twin earthquakes that struck Venezuela last week, social media has been flooded with videos claiming to show the level of destruction caused by the disaster. And just as quickly as officials and broadcasters have been racing to track that rapidly rising death toll, scores of viral videos are spreading just as quickly online. But many of these videos have nothing to do with Venezuela at all and are simply rehashing old destruction footage in order to farm engagement. Now, you may have seen this video circulating online, a white building collapsing in front of what looks like an empty park. Plumes of white smoke whilst a man runs in front of the smoke in order to get away from the debris and to get to safety. Now, this video was shared hundreds of thousands of times across social platforms. We can see one of those posts here online. Now, whilst back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela did cause many buildings to tumble, particularly in the state of La Guaira, this building collapse is unrelated. Now, we did a reverse image search from some of those frames in that video, and it led us to Turkish language media because, in fact, this video of that white building collapsing is from Turkey in October of 2023. It shows the controlled demolition of an apartment building in the city of Kahramanmaraş. The building was reportedly very damaged after the earthquake that struck Turkey in February of that year in 2023. Now, if we look at the Google Street View images from this building alone and the neighborhood that this is in, this story does actually check out, because if we take a look here, this is from November of 2022. We can see that building there behind this one in front. It was there in 2022. And Google Street View from February of 2025, that building is no longer visible in the background. Now, this is a very common tactic in misinformation, using footage from somewhere else and presenting it as current. And particularly, we see this during natural disasters. And I saw many videos like this, Mark, using footage from Myanmar, Thailand, Japan, what have you, and presenting it as the disaster that is currently taking place in Venezuela.
Now, Veronica, this isn't the only tactic, is it? Whilst that video is filmed elsewhere, people are sharing misleading clips from Venezuela itself.
That is correct. This video circulating online claims to show an explosion in the metro in the Venezuelan capital, Caracas, during those back-to-back earthquakes in Venezuela last week. Now, users online claimed that the earthquakes are what caused the explosion in the metro line, and the passengers were left in chaos. We can see in the video that passengers are left evacuating, running out of those metro carriages in order to get to the platform. Now, yes, whilst I can confirm this video was very much filmed in Caracas, in the metro, very much in Venezuela, it is not, again, linked to the earthquakes. A reverse image search told us that these images have, in fact, been circulating online for at least 5 years. Spanish language media reported an explosion that took place in the metro line of Caracas in September of 2021, as we can see here in that article. Now, the Caracas Metro confirmed that the event was caused by a system failure at the Los Dos Caminos station in the east of the city, and Venezuelan media reported that this wasn't the first time that such an event has occurred. But I think this is a good example of how misinformation, of that second misinformation strategy that we mentioned, using dated footage and presenting it as new, because just because it is filmed in Venezuela doesn't mean it's linked to the current earthquakes. Now, often, Mark, misinformation often combines those two elements using videos that are both old and filmed elsewhere out of context in order to spread misinformation on social media.
Veronica, talk to us about the role of AI, artificial intelligence, in this spreading of falsehood.
Well, as you can imagine, as AI has evolved, we are seeing more and more AI-generated content misleading online. A good example are these two towers, which have been viewed millions of times, as we can see here on X alone. It shows high-rise towers swaying, collapsing into each other, bending, eventually falling, and debris flying everywhere. And this was presented as showing the level of disaster that is taking place in Venezuela. Now, this is AI-generated content without a doubt. There are a few giveaways if we go through that video again. Firstly, the bending of the buildings, the swaying of the buildings. Real skyscrapers would not be bending like rubber before they collapse. There's also the car underneath that we can see there underneath those buildings. It does not react to the entire scene around this. These two towers do not react to the collapse. The debris as well is all very small and identical looking. If we take a closer look at the video, it's not any large chunks of concrete, metal, etc. But we can see here how AI is being used to spread fear, but also farm engagement as well, with those millions of views that it is racking up through the spreading of these videos. So between AI, dated footage, and out-of-context images, these are essentially the three main strategies that we see online to spread false content and misinformation. It is quite a mix, and we are certainly seeing all three of those strategies in Venezuela, coming out of Venezuela at the moment.